I have questions. Is it more than a coincidence that Valentine's Day has very many similarities as an ancient bloody pagan holiday called Lupercalia? Is it more than a coincidence that the holiday that we call Valentine's Day falls within the month of February? Is it more than a coincidence that the holiday that we call Valentine's Day has been associated to dark and sinister origins? Join me in this episode as we both cover and uncover the open secret about the holiday we all know as Valentine's Day. For millions of people across the country and even across the world, February 14th is considered to be the quote-unquote day of love. You know, when many people will show their better half how much they love and appreciate them by maybe going out on dates, buying gifts, flowers, Valentine's Day cards, chocolates, and more. It is said that all of these things is inspired by a person named Saint Valentine. But who is this mysterious Saint Valentine person, and where did the traditions even come from in the first place? What if I told you that there's a history, an open secret, and so-called element of Valentine's Day that you may not know that has a much more darker and sinister meaning than what we have been told? Let's start with the origin of Valentine's Day. What many people don't even know is that the ancient Romans literally had a festival for nearly everything. While Valentine's Day is said to have both Christian and Roman influences, there is still clearly a far greater showing of Roman or pagan elements within this holiday. Many people are under the belief that Valentine's Day is celebrated during the middle of February to commemorate or celebrate the death of Saint Valentine. This, I believe, is not the case by a long shot. And while the stories are murky about who Saint Valentine really was, the origins of Valentine's Day itself is not. Valentine's Day falls within the month of February, which is derived from the word februm, meaning purification, and febra, which means the rites or instruments used for purification. And this holiday is actually derived from a bloody pagan festival from the 5th century called Lupercalia. This was a fertility festival that was dedicated to Roman founders Romulus, Remus, and the Roman god of agriculture, Faunus, that took place around February 15th. To begin the festival, many members of the Luperci, which is just another name for the order of the Roman priests, would gather at a sacred cave where the infants Romulus and Remus were believed to have been cared for by a she-wolf or lupa. The priest would sacrifice a goat for fertility and a dog for purification. They would then strip the goat's hide into strips, dip them into the sacrificial blood, and then run through the streets naked or nearly naked, gently slapping both women and crop fields with the goat hide. And the women actually embraced the touch of the hides because it was believed to make them more fertile in the coming year. Later in the day, all the women in the city would place their names in this thing called a big urn. The men within the city would then come later and pull names from this urn, and they would be paired with these same women for the remainder of the festival. But many of these matches actually ended in, some of these people staying together, and even some relationships leading to marriage. So how did the world get away from the ritualistic acts that took place during Lupercalia? Why is it and how is it that we call it by a different name today and don't ever hear about the true origins? Well, there was Pope Gelasius, the Bishop of Rome back in the year 492, who has been most notoriously coined as the person to abolish and convert the pagan festival. He wrote a letter in 494 CE criticizing the festival and its pagan rituals. In fact, it is said here that in the remark is often made that the Lupercalia was among the most long-lived of pagan institutions, lasting to near the close of the 5th century, long after the old pagan worship was legally suppressed. While this is true, the references to the Lupercalia of this period found in well-known works are often distinctly uncritical. For example, Pope Hilary is said in AD 467 to have demanded the abolition of this festival from the Emperor Anthemius, whereas the sources state only that the Pope warned the Emperor against tolerating heresies, and that the Lupercalia had continued through the time of Anthemius. There is no doubt but that the Lupercalia continued till the time of Pope Gelasius. It is mentioned by Augustine in the latter part of the City of God, and it is included in the calendar of the Christian Polemius Silvius of year 448 and 449. When it was finally abolished by the efforts of Gelasius, he addressed to a group of senators an epistle defending the step, which approximates the length of an apologetic treatise. He admits that the old pagan rite had continued under his predecessors through the days of Alaric, Anthemius, and Ricimer, and had been abolished only in his own time. But he defends the earlier popes by saying that the ills could not be healed at once, and that perhaps they had tried to remove this superstition but had failed to win the support of the imperial court. And this is just one of many writings that documents the history of Lupercalia. And well, you may say, well, what's the big deal? So what, they sacrificed goats and dogs. They didn't kill any humans, and men and women still ended up marrying one another. Seems like it wasn't so bad to me. So what, the holiday is said to be associated or originated from ancient deities. I don't believe in those deities. I do it for fun. I do it to, show my significant other how much I care about them. I do it because I enjoy it. Well, firstly, to respond to this, Lupercalia was actually banned many years ago because many people considered it not to be Christian or of holy scriptures at all. The holiday we know today is Valentine's Day was actually never associated with love at one point in time many years ago. You know why? Because, as I've already stated, it was a violent, bloody, and extremely sexually charged celebration that included randomly placing drunk people together based on ritualistic practices such as animal sacrifice and warding off evil spirits. This was basically a huge public sex orgy. And make no mistake, sex does not necessarily mean that there's love involved. It is also said that Valentine's Day literally uses some of the same colors from the Lupercalia symbols, such as red, which represents blood sacrifice, and the color white, which signifies the milk that was notoriously used to wipe the blood clean, and it also represents new life and procreation. Is that more than a coincidence? For anyone who is listening to or watching this video right now, please understand that whether you choose to accept or believe what you have heard today, make sure you hear this. You don't have to wait until February 14th to celebrate your significant other just because the government decided that that's the day for quote-unquote love. Why do it just because it's a popular trend or because that's the day that everybody else is doing it? I challenge anyone out there to just question their behavior and why it is that they are partaking in what someone else has decided is a holiday. Does it align with your spiritual beliefs? Does it align with if you believe in the Bible, if you believe in the scriptures? Does it align with what the scriptures tell you, right? And for many of you who have been following the channel, specifically this new series, The Open Secret, you would know that I am under the belief that the Freemasons control just about everything we see that reach the masses. From media to celebrities to music to movies to sports, politics, and I think holidays are no different. I think all of it is designed, because normally somebody may look and say, well, it's harmless. What's the harm in going to buy your loved one something nice? But it's a lot deeper than that. I think these holidays are designed, like everything else that reach the masses, to distract us. I believe personally that we are only on this planet for one sole reason, and that's to prove ourselves to the Most High, to praise the Most High. I think everything else is a distraction, and I think the Freemasons have done an extraordinary job of going out of their way to put all these things to make, people take their attention away from the scriptures, take their attention away from the Most High, praising the Most High, glorifying the Most High. And it almost gives the people something to look forward to. If you have a holiday coming up that is nowhere in the scriptures, such as a Valentine's Day, then you can start planning for that. You go into the grocery stores or, your main retail stores, and you see chocolates and teddy bears and all these things within the stores. But what does that have to do with God? What does that have to do with salvation? What does that have to do with anything that is greater than what the eye sees? Because a lot of people think that what they see is pretty much all that's there. A lot of times it's a lot deeper than that. And when you see those chocolates and those teddy bears every single year, which is the definition of a ritual, when you're partaking in something every single time or the same time every single year, you should question it, right? You should see red flags, because none of this helps you in any type of way. This last portion is for those who may question the things that have been said within this video, which is natural. Maybe you are on the edge, or maybe you consider me as a quote-unquote conspiracy theorist, and or consider this as quote-unquote conspiracy theories. This game is called No, I Don't Know. This simply means that no matter what I ask, the answer you give cannot be the words, I don't know, right? The challenge here is for you to answer with a better alternative than what I have presented here in the video. Make sense? Perfect. First question. Is it just a coincidence that Valentine's Day falls around the same time when it is said that Lupercalia took place many years ago? Is it just a coincidence that Valentine's Day has the same colors as said Lupercalia festival? Is it just a coincidence that Valentine's Day falls within the month of February, which is derived from the word februm, meaning purification, which is directly related to the quote-unquote purpose of why dogs were sacrificed during Lupercalia? I don't believe it is. I'd like to say thank you for watching the video. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment what or who you would like me to make a video on next. I believe it is not only my responsibility, but many others' responsibility to unapologetically raise awareness and speak truth to light to the best of our ability, despite how many people may feel about it. If you notice evil and choose to not speak on it, please understand that this makes you a part of the problem and not the solution, respectfully. There is no in between. All praise be to the Most High. The truth is all that there is, and that's not a coincidence. I have questions. Do you?